plug this. Um, Proper prior preparation. Not been done. Okay. Hopefully you can still hear me. Okay, this live stream is dedicated to Ivan, my nephew. Love you, buddy. Hopefully I have prepared sufficiently. If not, I'll do a second one and send you that one instead. But whether this is the one I send you or the next one I send you, just know that you may not understand all this now, because hopefully it's going to be wisdom. I'm trying to impart wisdom unto you and save you some time, because nobody knew how to help me when I was your age. And a lot of the stuff that I see you doing, you started because you've seen me do it. So I want to set you up as best as I can for your life. So I may go back and forth between talking about specific things that you're doing and more general things, and that's because truth, which you could define as Jesus Christ, but truth is in the center of everything. So, I take this pen, all right, this glass of water, the chair, the stool I'm sitting on, whatever. If I study this and I open myself up so that I'm not prejudiced, I'm not biased, no matter what I see when I look at it, I will see what it really is. Okay, I'm willing to allow it to hurt me. Whatever knowledge I gain from studying this thing, even if it hurts me, I want to know what it is. And so I'm willing to know the truth, because sometimes the truth is painful when it contradicts us. Maybe I believe some things about this pen that are wrong, but if I open myself up to that truth, I will find it. I will find everything about this pen that is true, and those truths will lead me back to God the Father. Your dad could probably explain that to you very, very well, and perhaps better than I can. And so I want you to know, first of all, that it's not arm wrestling that is the way to God, and it's not arm wrestling that teaches you how to live. It's whatever you practice. And you're going to learn when you are around some people, some adults, and when you get into your teen years and your 20s and your 30s, and you're going to see this in your career field as well. When you begin to work, people are going to talk about integrity. Well, that guy doesn't have any integrity. You got integrity. Maybe you'll have it without trying, but you need to know what it is. It's integration. It's like honesty. If I'm going to give a speech to my team that I work with, then I'm not going to be fake to them and pretend to be something I'm not, and then when I'm over there with my buddy, be somebody totally different. I'm not going to lie for personal gain. Really what this means, and what arm wrestling for me embodies, just because it's the sport I chose, okay? I could talk about football, except I don't know anything about football. So if I had studied football, I could use those examples. You and I have arm wrestling in common, so this should work for you. You are what you practice in the darkness. Okay? That's who you are. And what that means is there's some girl that you like, wow, she's incredible, or wow, she's beautiful, or man, she knows the scripture so much better than me, or she's so much smarter than I am. Somebody that you admire. Just understand that you do not want to hide your flaws. You don't want to put them out there, but you don't want to hide them, okay? Because if you hide them, that's the first step to being fake. And then you're going to put something out there that you think is so wonderful for her to see, because you want her to like you. Don't do that, okay? What you want to do, you know how this goes, okay? What you want to do is you want to practice. Think about arm wrestling practice. You want to go, and you're going to go through these motions. You're going to try, and you're going to fail. You're going to try, and you're going to fail. And you're going to try, and you're going to fail. And you're going to try, and you're going to win. And you're going to try and win again. right? So what did you just do? You just went to the ugly place where you fail. You're a failure. You're weak. You can't do anything. And you go back to the practice. You tried and tried and tried in that day, in that hour, or however long you have to practice. You try again the next week for the next practice. You try every time you arm wrestle someone, every time you're at practice, every practice for years. You see how it just expands out? It's like so many attempts to get better. Why do you do that? No, because I love arm wrestling. Okay, but do you compete? Because only if you compete are you an arm wrestler. I'm your uncle. I tell people I'm a competitive arm wrestler. Why? Because I compete. So the purpose for my practice is proper prior preparation for competition. I'm tapping in the practice to the spirit of arm wrestling, that I might witness the truth of those things on competition day. When you interact with someone that God has for you to be your wife, when you're approaching an interview or a meeting to potentially find the career that God has put you on the earth to do, because everything is about helping other people, Ivan. That's how you become valuable. It's how can you help people? You are preparing for the interview, for the competition day, for where the rubber meets the road, the real deal, by practicing. You told me you train every day. I'm very impressed by that. I hope you mean that, and I hope you're consistent with it. If you're not, that's okay. You just need to understand that whether you do it first thing in the morning, or you do it last thing at night, or you do it when you think about it, or you only do it some of the time, whatever you do, you get better at. If you want to sit on the couch and play video games, you will get better at that. But that's really, really hard to extrapolate out of video games into real life. And someday you want to be a husband, and someday you want to be a strong man. You're going to have a beard. You're going to have a big, strong body. You're going to be a tall, capable man. You're going to be a dangerous man. And because you're a dangerous man, you're going to be able to protect your wife and your children. This is important. What you do now, you get better at. Why is that important? Because soon you'll be a man. Soon you'll be a man, and soon you'll be on your own. You can do whatever you want. You need to practice what you want to become, because very, very quickly, Ivan, that is what you will be. So, we practice in arm wrestling with a certain day in mind, and in my case, with super matches, with a very specific opponent in mind. But when you're going to talk about how to lift weights, how to practice your arm wrestling, how to do these things logistically, which means, where do you do it? What time do you do it? How long does it take you? Are you going to do it heavier? Are you going to do it more times? Are you going to do more sets? Are you going to do multiple exercises? Are you going to do multiple workouts a day? That's the logistics. That's what that means. How you do it. How you go about it physically. What I want to tell you, I'm going to talk from two ends of the spectrum. I'm going to talk about issues that they have at the very top of the sport. The very big professionals still have this problem, and I want you to know it right off the top so that you don't have this problem and you can keep building. And I'm going to talk about a lower level problem. I'll tell you about the top one first. When you have decided of all the things that you can do with your hand, okay, and all the things you do with your arm, and all the ways you can arm wrestle, and you have decided what you need to be strong at the most consistently, that goes at the top of the list. Because if you have the energy to lift something that's heavy, if you have the energy to lift something for strength, you should do that one more often than you do others. Okay? When you're lifting something heavy and you need to be strong at it, you need to know how much you're lifting. You need to learn how to write and how to read, and you need to learn how to write intelligently. It's very hard. I need to go back and learn more about it because it helps you organize your thoughts. But you need to write down how much weight you're doing for each exercise, and you need to do them exactly right. Exactly. With exactness, okay? When you're doing them, it's very important. Let's say you're going to do a competition like me and Addie went to a competition, right? And let's say you lifted 20 pounds, which would be a lot, or 10 pounds, whatever. I don't want you to be like, oh, I can lift more than that. Let's say you did 10 pounds on your riser lift or your pronation. You got to decide what's your most important lift you want to be strong. Maybe you just want to treat them all the same. That's fine. Let's say you're doing cupping instead. Let's say you find a way, you're going to bend your wrist, you're going to pick up a weight, and you're going to bend your wrist somehow. Okay. Let's say you did 15 pounds before that competition, and then you rested, and then you competed, and you did really well. Maybe you got first, second, or third, somewhere in there, right? Okay, so you know probably what you need to do better, because you lost one or two of the matches. You lost 2 of the matches. So you know where you failed. Your arm opened. Did you get what you tried to do? When you bent your wrist, did the guy lose his pronation? If yes, you succeeded. You need to work on more weaknesses. You need to work on your arm. Okay. If no, then you need to work on everything. And you need to find where you are the most competitive. That's your responsibility. What age group, what weight class, and you need to become that thing so that you have access to fight where you are the most competitive to win. To win. Meaning, if I don't try, I'll win. That's not what you want to be. If I try really hard and I do everything perfectly, I won't win. That's not what you want either. You want the middle. You want what's in between. You want to do, if I did everything I could, if I did everything perfectly, if I rest right, if I recover right, if I train right, and I show up on that day, I might be able to fight for that first place. And if I don't do so much perfect here, or everything's good except for this one thing, then maybe I get third. That's where you want to be. You want to be where you are the most competitive. You'll understand more about that as you get older, but you probably already have a good idea. When you're talking about lifting weights, and you did that 15 pounds, and you come to the next tournament, we're going to have one here March 21st, Fallen Heroes, right? Fallen Heroes 10. And you say to that 18-year-old that beat you, I'm 10% stronger. You need to understand what that means. That does not mean that you can lift the weight, that you can only lift, or let's say it's still the wrist. I barely got it once. That means that's my maximum. I can't lift it any heavier than that. I did 15 pounds. Okay. If your whole preparation, you don't have to lift more immediately. You probably go down to like 8 pounds and work your way up and build your base until you can get 10, 12. Now you're back to 14. Now you go to 16. That's more weight than you've ever done. You do 16 for 4. You know how it is. You look up periods of progressive overload online. But it does not mean you're stronger when you can take that 15 pounds and do it 10 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I only did it for 2 last time. And now I'm doing it for 10. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. You need to actually divide it up into very clear, separate lines. When are you training for strength? When are you training for volume or work capacity? And when are you training for blood flow? Blood flow means I'm going to go through the motion. I'm going to explore places in my hand, fingers, and wrist that I don't do very often. And you're going to do as light a weight as you can stand. That's the mental challenge. Oh God, it's so boring. This is such a light weight. Can I do it any lighter? That's when you need to ask yourself, can I do it any lighter? Sometimes your uncle will go from his normal weight to a strap with no weight, to a towel, to a t-shirt, to 2 socks, to 1 sock, to just my hand. Okay? That means I can keep working, and less resistance. And it's really good. It's really healthy for your bones and your tissues. That's rehab. Work capacity is how many times can I do the exercise? How many exercises, how many times can I do the exercise? And how many exercises can I do in one day or in one workout? And you just start building those, okay? And you want to be consistent. Just like you said, you're working out every day. Okay, you don't want to do something crazy. You want to do, okay, I'm doing this and this today. Now, starting next week, I'm going to do another workout or another exercise in the workout. And now you do 3 things a day. And you do that for a while. And when that gets easier, you're like, you know what? I can do, that's expanding your work capacity. Strength is the opposite. Strength is, I'm going to lift more weight now than I did before. Strength is very hard to do every day. Okay, I don't do strength every day. But you have to find a way to define your terms so that you know what you're doing. This is called effort periodization. Your dad knows what this is because sometimes your dad takes the camper and he travels for a job. He doesn't have your mom with him. He doesn't have you kids with him. No one loves your dad. He's by himself. He's out there sacrificing for your family for a while, for a period of time. And then there'll be a time when your dad is with your family again. And then there'll be a time when he's home and he's not traveling, but other people need his help. All these your dad is actively having to do, and every man, every real man, has to manage his time and his money that same way. You have to understand effort periodization. We're going to do this, and we're going to do this consistently, and it's going to be really difficult, but it's only for a short while. That's what I mean. It's no different than schoolwork. Oh God, I'm doing okay in all these things, but I'm behind in my math. I have to do double the math. Or 2 or 3 days a week I have to do double the math to catch up by this time. Well, how long do you have to do that? Just a little while. Just a little while. You do the math and you have your parents help you figure out how long it is. I'm going to be caught up by this date if I put in this work, if I sacrifice. Okay, and this is all part of integrity because what you practice, what you preach. If you are the same in the light that you are in the dark, then that means that everything you're doing when no one knows what you're doing is for that day. It's for the end of the year school. It's for, so you'll have summer that you can take off from school. It's for the competition day you did all these practices. It's for the practices where you actually get to arm wrestle people. I'm doing these weights. It's for something. It's for the thing that you're going to do with your community. It's for church. It's for this study class I'm going to do. It's for college. It's for whatever. Okay? I want to take apart engines and rebuild small engines or large engines or whatever. I want to know how to do that. Okay, you're going to practice what you want to do and you're going to get better at it. This is all part of integrity. So you're doing great already by trying to do something every day. Consistency beats the pants off of extremes. I'm extreme. The more I can force myself to be consistent, just do something. Get in there and do something every day. It raises your normal. It's okay if you have, well, this week I did a whole bunch of stuff, but then the next week I didn't really do. And you know what? The next 3 months I didn't do much. But then I had a really big, and then I didn't do much. See how the average is like here? Even though we had these 2 big bumps, the average is still here. If you straighten it all out and you add it all together, it's just, but if you say, well, I did 3 workouts every day for 30 days, that takes your average and it goes, ba, 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 ba. This is your normal. Well, how hard was that to do 3 workouts every day for 30 days? No, it wasn't bad. You're just living your normal life. It's not even stressful. Is a higher level than these other guys that aren't consistent. Consistency is more important. Consistency of time invested. And if you're going to invest your time, you better know the intensity that you should use. So you're going to prioritize accuracy. You don't want to go and do some lift and you're like this for your pronation. Like, okay, I need to add weight. No, you don't. You need to take 50% of it off, half of it off, and get down there and do it right. It's better to do it with more accuracy, more correctly, more right, than it is to do it with more weight. But whatever you do, just do it the same. Okay, here's the other thing. You're going to be consistent. You're going to train every single day the rest of your life. And you're going to do some of that with your football too, and these other sports you try. And maybe you put arm wrestling away for a while, but this is going to be something you'll understand for all life, not just sport. But sport will teach you this very well, because competition will reveal your weaknesses and put your weaknesses in the light that you didn't work on in the dark. The dark means by yourself. When you have times, whether you're talking about the weights or you're talking about an arm wrestling practice or whatever, when you have times when you don't have a competition for a long while and you're not really worried about getting ready for that, you have other things to do. You need to allow yourself to have time, whether that's in the quiet or whether that's talking to new people, or just come in and spend a week at the farm, or go spend some time with Bonnie and Steve. She's dead now. With your grandpa Steve, get some new perspective, and allow yourself. This is scary, but allow yourself to think about other things. Think about things differently. Think about what you want to do. You told me football and arm wrestling. Okay, that's your sports, and you need to keep up with your schoolwork. So that's 3 things you're doing right now. Eventually, you're going to add in something for a career or a job, like some sort of trade. Okay, so you got 3 things right now. Eventually, you'll have 4. You need to stay consistent with all of those. But if you go and you say, well, these are the things I do, and you go and you live with somebody else, or you spend a week with somebody else, or a summer, or whatever, when you're with those people, immerse yourself in their way of life. Study them, understand them, accept the truths that they're telling you, and then see if that gives you anything that you can take with you and keep with you for those things that you're trying to accomplish. I hope that makes sense the way I said it. I'm not saying, go be a non-Christian when you're a Christian. I'm saying, well, let's just even use the religion example, okay? I believe in Christ. I practice the Torah. What else? I follow the words of Yohanan ben Zechariah the Immerser, John the Baptist, John the Baptizer, whatever. That's what that means in English. Okay, so those are the 3 things. So I believe you need to be baptized. I think you need to follow the Torah, and I think you need to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Those are the 3 things. Well, I go out to other people. I go out with the Indians. They're smoking a peace pipe. They want you to sleep in a sukkah at night. Okay, there's a different way of life. Immerse yourself in their way of life, and see if that will help you think about your life differently. And because it's only a short period of time, you're not going to live with the Indians your whole life. You need to make the most out of the time you have with those new people. And when you leave there, you will leave there and you're not going to go, okay, now I'm going to smoke a peace pipe. No, you decided. And you can change your mind, okay? But you decided you're going to do arm wrestling, you're going to do football. And you should, it's up to you if you want to believe this, but you should believe that you should accept Jesus Christ as your Savior. You should believe in the practice of the Torah, and you should believe that people should be baptized for the remission of their sins and for admission into heaven. So you come away from these other people that you're with, and you got to do their stuff, and it was fun. You had a good time, but you also had time and peace, space to think and to ponder and to let go of all these other things you're trying to do all the time for that small period of time you were with them. And when you come back from that, if you allow yourself to open up and to kind of be out there in the universe with your thoughts, really open, you're opening yourself up to the truth. And when you come back to your life, you're going to have a new perspective, and it's going to increase the accuracy with which you can pursue those 3 goals. Okay, I need to be accurate in school. I'm doing football and arm wrestling. This is my life. Okay. Or you want to, I love to eat fast food. I love to be on the couch. I like to play indoors. That can be your life too. You think about it. Think about it that way. Whatever it is that you choose to do and you practice, that's what you become. Be careful what you practice. Be careful what you practice, Ivan. This is perhaps you've already heard some of this, but I really hope that I can save you some time, okay? So that means that you need to find something that inspires you. Not just because, football is amazing because these guys are so strong. That's great. And you can do football, and you don't have to do football forever. Maybe you do football forever. I personally think that you should find something that has multiple reasons that is deep. I love my little sister Katie. I love Katie for multiple reasons. I love her spiritual insight. I love her family advice. I love Katie because of her perspective as a girl and also as a relative of mine. So we are similar, and yet she's different. When we watch movies, I love Katie because of her humor. You see all these different reasons I love Katie? Even though a person is more complicated than things and they're more valuable than things, they are, even if you don't feel that way. People are more important than things. You want to find a sport that sort of accumulates, incubates, what's the word I'm thinking of? Accompanies? It sort of gathers all these things together. So, like in church, and maybe in family, if you guys have kind of a big family with Mike and Em and your parents, all these kids, but in church, you have like 10 families or 20 families. They all get together, and it's a group and it's a community, and they're all trying to focus on one thing, or hopefully they are, and they're all trying to better themselves and be more like Christ, and they're all trying to understand how to practice the Torah better. They're trying to do all these things, and they're trying to keep their covenant, which they made in the waters of baptism. Okay, that's you being part of a community, and you can help them and they can help you, and it's all reciprocal and it's beautiful, and it's all towards something that's greater than everyone there. It's towards something that's higher. It's God. Okay, you go into arm wrestling, you have that element. You have the element that everyone is focused on a greater good. They're all pursuing getting better than they currently are and eliminating their weaknesses. And they're all willing to go up and be judged in the light of competition, in the truth. So they're going to expose their sin. That's like confession. And they're going to go home and they're going to practice. They're going to read, they're going to study, they're going to pray, and they're going to obey. Or they're not going to do any better. They want to do better. So everyone there, and you can help each other too, but whether you help each other or not, everyone there is a part of a community that is pursuing becoming better at the thing they're all there to practice. That is community. That's like 4 or 5 levels of community, and why I appreciate it. And you have that in church, and you have that in a good town hall meeting, and you have that in arm wrestling, and you will have that in, hopefully you'll find that in football as well. The culture makes the people, and the people make the practice. So it's very important who you choose to be with and where you choose to invest in the sport. So with some things are just more fun to certain people than others, and click. So there's that. And maybe if you're not good at a sport, you don't want to do that sport or a job or a thing, whatever, or you just don't like it, and that's fine. You can choose something else. But once you make the decision to pursue it, even maybe you love it and you want to be a part of it because it's so beautiful to you. You see the value, but you're not good at it. Don't give up. Don't give up. And maybe you can take a break and try other things first. Maybe you need to do some general conditioning or whatever. But always keep it in your mind. No, I will go back and do that. I'm going to try and work on some things that are going to help me get there. Open yourself up to those possibilities and believe that you can do it, because consistency is very powerful. You can have people way ahead of you, and then in 5 or 10 years, you're so far ahead of them that it's like they don't even exist because you were just consistent. So that's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you that for strength, lifting more weight is more important than how many times you can lift that same weight. Okay? If I can lift 200 pounds, well, it's great. But if the next time I can lift 200 pounds 5 times, that's great. But if I'm training for strength, then as quick as I can, I need to be lifting 201 pounds, or 202.5 pounds, or 205 pounds for one. Now it's 205 pounds. It's really hard. I got it. Or, maybe you fail. You don't want to stay away from failure. But as soon as you're ready, you need to add more weight when you're talking about strength. And decide if you're talking about strength or not. Because it's not always going to be strength. You have to keep yourself healthy. Anyway, if I think of anything else, I'll make another video. It doesn't feel any easier. In fact, it feels like a lot more work because it is more work. But to do something to work towards your goals every single day, to do something every single day is more effective. And it establishes a consistent routine which you can build. And if you start doing it, it's like, well, every day I'm going to get on the computer, or every day I'm going to open the book, wherever you do your school, for example. And you're just going to open it. I'm going to open it. I'm going to make sure that everyone's eaten, everyone's good. Maybe they ate a bunch of junk food and they're all laying down because they feel weird, and you ate clean food. When the meal's done, I'm gonna study. I'm gonna open up my book and I'm gonna look at this. And you decide that every day after everyone eats, or before everyone eats, you're going to find some time alone, or decently quiet space, or outside or inside, whatever, and you're going to do that thing. You're going to open the book, you're going to get on the computer, and that's all you got to do. Just get in there. Maybe you read something, maybe you don't. No pressure. But doing that, before you know it, you're going to spend 4 minutes reading in the book every day. Because, well, I'm in the book. I have a habit built already. I might as well do it. Before you know it, 4 minutes is 15 minutes. Before you know it, 15 minutes is an hour. If you study anything 3 hours a day, every day of your life, you're going to be the best in the world at it. You understand? The only thing that can cause you to fail is to fail to try. Because to try means you succeed. It means you are trying until you succeed. You don't stop until you succeed if you're trying. If you quit, then you never tried. The Kilpack family secret to success is try. It always has been. It always will be. Whether we are defeated or whether we are victorious, the secret was to try. And hopefully, in the final analysis, you and I, Ivan, will both have been found trying and succeeding. I wish you all the best, and I love you dearly. I hope this blesses you. Love you. Stay after it and find truth in arm wrestling, I pray.